Nobody is coming. Say that to yourself again. Nobody is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not some stranger with money, not the government, not a mentor, not a coach, not a miracle. Nobody is coming to save you from the life you are living right now. You can wait by the window your whole life, watching for someone to knock on your door and rescue you, and that knock will never come. The phone will never ring with the call that changes everything. The email will never arrive with the opportunity that fixes your problems. You can keep waiting, but waiting is not a plan. Waiting is just a slower way of giving up. Right now, somewhere in the world, there is a person stuck in life, looking for help, hoping someone will show up and make things easier. Maybe that person is you. Maybe you are stuck in a job you hate, stuck in debt, stuck in bad habits, stuck in a relationship that drains you, stuck in a body you don't feel proud of, stuck in a mind full of doubt. And every day you tell yourself, things will get better when something changes, when someone helps me, when the timing is right, when I get a sign. But here is the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. Nobody is coming. Let that sink in. Nobody is going to build your future for you. Nobody is going to make your dreams happen while you sit back and wait. Nobody is going to show up one day and hand you the life you want. That is not how life works, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner your real life begins. This is not meant to scare you. This is meant to wake you up, because once you understand that nobody is coming, something powerful happens inside you. You stop looking outward for answers, and you start looking inward. You stop waiting for permission, and you start taking action. You stop hoping for rescue, and you start building your own way out. This is the moment everything changes. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Think about how much of your life has been spent waiting. Waiting for someone to notice your potential. Waiting for someone to give you a chance. Waiting for someone to fix what's broken. Waiting for the stars to align, for the door to open, for the green light to appear. And while you were waiting, time kept moving. Days became weeks, weeks became months, months became years. And the thing you were waiting for never came, because it was never coming in the first place. So let's talk about what this really means, and how you take this truth and turn it into the most powerful force in your life. The first step is a reality check, and it is not a comfortable one. Nobody will save you. Read that again. Nobody will save you. Your parents may love you, but they cannot live your life for you. Your friends may support you, but they have their own battles to fight. A boss, a teacher, a leader. They can guide you, but they cannot do the work that only you can do. Nobody will save you from your own choices, your own habits, your own fears. Nobody will build your future. Your future is not being built in some office somewhere by people deciding what happens to you. Your future is being built right now, today, by the decisions you make, the actions you take, and the things you choose to do or not do. If you are not building it, nobody is. If you are waiting for it to be built for you, it simply will not exist. Nobody will make your dreams happen. Dreams do not work like that. A dream without action is just a wish, and wishes do not pay bills, do not build businesses, do not get you in shape, do not write the book, do not start the company, do not change the life. Only action does that. And action only comes from you. When this reality hits you, it should hit hard. It should feel like a shock. Because for years, maybe your whole life, you have been operating under a different assumption that somehow, somewhere, someone or something would step in and change your situation. That assumption has been quietly keeping you stuck. It has been the excuse hiding behind every other excuse. And now that assumption is gone. This shock is uncomfortable, and it should be. Growth is rarely comfortable, but sit with this shock for a moment instead of running from it, because hidden inside this shock is a gift. The same realization that nobody is coming to save you also means nobody is coming to stop you. Nobody is coming to take credit for your success, and nobody is coming to take the blame for your failure. The story of your life, from this point forward, is being written entirely by you. Along with that shock comes something else: responsibility. And responsibility, real responsibility, is not a punishment. It is a gift. Because if nobody else is responsible for your life, that means you are in control of your life. If nobody else can fix it, that means you have the power to fix it. The same truth that feels heavy at first, nobody is coming, is also the truth that sets you free. This brings us to the next part of this message, and it is about ownership. Stop blaming. Blaming your parents, your past, your circumstances, your bad luck, the economy, other people. Blaming feels good for a moment because it takes the weight off your shoulders. But all it really does is keep you stuck exactly where you are. Blame is comfortable because it requires nothing from you. But comfort and growth do not live in the same house. As long as you are pointing fingers outward, you are not looking at the one person who actually has the power to change your life: yourself. Think about how much energy gets wasted on blame. Hours spent replaying what someone else did wrong. Hours spent explaining why it's not your fault. Hours spent justifying why things turned out the way they did. All of that energy could have gone somewhere else. It could have gone into the work. It could have gone into building something. Instead, it went into a story about why you can't. And stories like that don't build anything. Stop waiting. Waiting for the right time, the right mood, the right resources, the right people, the right sign from the universe. The right time is a myth. There will never be a perfect moment where everything lines up and life becomes easy. The people who succeed are not the ones who waited for everything to be perfect. They are the ones who started anyway, with what they had, where they were, exactly as they were. Look at it this way. If you keep waiting for the perfect time, you are essentially handing your life over to circumstances you cannot control. You're saying, I will only act when conditions outside of me are exactly right. But conditions are never exactly right. There is always something. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough confidence, not enough support. If you wait for all of that to disappear, you will wait forever, because it never fully disappears for anyone. Accept responsibility. This is the turning point. This is the moment where you stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. Accepting responsibility means saying, my life is my responsibility, my choices got me here, and my choices will get me out. Nobody did this to me, and nobody owes me a way out. I am the one who has to act, and here is the main truth to hold on to. Responsibility creates power. The moment you take responsibility, you take back your power. As long as you believe someone else is responsible for your situation, you are powerless, because you are waiting on someone else to act. But the moment you say, this is on me, you instantly become powerful, because now everything depends on you and you can actually do something about that. Responsibility creates power. Say it again. Responsibility creates power. This is not about guilt. This is not about beating yourself up for where you are. This is about recognizing that you, and only you, hold the keys to where you are going next. Think of two people in the exact same situation. Same struggles, same setbacks, same difficult past. One of them spends their energy on blame. Blaming the system, blaming other people, blaming bad luck. The other one says, okay, this is where I am. What can I do about it? The first person stays stuck because blame doesn't move anything forward. The second person starts moving because responsibility is the starting point of every change that has ever happened. Now let's talk about personal effort, because responsibility without action is just a feeling. It has to turn into something real. Think about the basics: push-ups, reading books, studying, building skills. These are not glamorous. Nobody films a highlight reel of someone doing push-ups alone in their room at 6 in the morning. Nobody claps when you read one more chapter of a book instead of scrolling on your phone. Nobody notices when you sit down to study a skill that will take months or years to master. But these small, unglamorous actions are exactly what separate the people who change their lives from the people who only talk about changing their lives. Nobody can do the push-ups for you. Nobody can read the book for you and transfer the knowledge into your mind. Nobody can sit in your seat and learn the skill that you need to learn. Nobody can put in the work that only you can do. This is the core of personal effort. It is yours, completely and entirely yours, and no one can take it from you or do it for you. This is also good news when you think about it the right way. It means your effort actually matters. It means the time you spend training your body, training your mind, and training your skills is not wasted. It is being deposited into your future. Every push-up, every page, every hour of practice is a brick being laid. You might not see the building yet, but the bricks are there, and they are yours. Consider the person who reads every single day, even just a few pages. One day of reading doesn't change much, but a year of reading every day adds up to dozens of books. Knowledge that compounds, ideas that connect, perspectives that shift. Consider the person who does push-ups every morning, even just a small set. One day doesn't transform their body, but a year of consistent effort does. The pattern is always the same. Small actions, repeated without fail, become massive results over time. And every one of those actions has to come from you. The message is simple. Nobody can do the work for you, so do the work. Not someday, not when you feel like it. Now today, in whatever way you can, starting from wherever you are. Of course, the moment you decide to do the work, something else shows up to try and stop you. Excuses. And excuses are sneaky because they don't feel like obstacles. They feel like reasons. They feel logical. They feel justified. But excuses are one of the most dangerous things in your life because they kill dreams quietly, one small surrender at a time. Let's look at some of the most common excuses people use. I'm tired. Of course you're tired. Everyone is tired. The people who are winning in life are tired too. They are tired and they still show up. Tiredness is not a stop sign. It is just a feeling, and feelings pass. If you wait until you are not tired to take action, you will be waiting forever. Tiredness comes and goes throughout the day. It rises, it falls, it shifts depending on what you're doing. If you let tiredness decide your actions will always be inconsistent because tiredness is never consistent either. I don't have time. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is not time, it's priorities. If something truly mattered enough, you would find the time, even if it meant giving up something else. Sleep, entertainment, scrolling, comfort. I don't have time usually means this isn't important enough to me yet. And that is a choice, not a fact. Think about how much time disappears into things that don't move your life forward. None of us are actually short on time. We are short on intention about how that time is used. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is the greatest thief of dreams ever created. Tomorrow feels safe because it is not today. It doesn't require anything from you right now. But tomorrow becomes today, and when it does, you'll say the same thing again. I'll start tomorrow. Said enough times becomes, I never started at all. Tomorrow is always one day away, no matter how many days pass. That's the trap. It always sounds reasonable, and it's always a lie. It's too hard. Yes, it is hard. Building a better life is hard. Changing habits is hard. Learning new skills is hard. Becoming a different person than the one you've been your whole life is hard. But hard is not the same as impossible. Hard just means it requires effort, and effort is something you are capable of giving. Everything worth having in life was hard for someone before they had it. The hardness is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're doing something that matters. Here's the truth about excuses. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Every excuse you make is another nail. One nail doesn't seem like much, but nail after nail, excuse after excuse, and eventually you've built an entire structure, a house made of, I'm tired, I don't have time, I'll start tomorrow, and it's too hard. And then you live inside that house, wondering why your life looks the way it does, not realizing that you built it yourself. Excuse by excuse, nail by nail. The good news is, just like that house was built one nail at a time, it can be taken apart one decision at a time. Every time you choose action over excuse, you remove a nail. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy thing, you remove a nail. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. Look closely at your own life, and you will probably find these exact excuses showing up in different forms, on different days, around different goals. The excuse about exercise sounds a little different than the excuse about studying, but underneath, it's the same nail. A small surrender, a small choice to avoid the discomfort of effort, and every one of those small surrenders adds up. Now, here is something important, something that most people don't talk about, and it's one of the hardest parts of this whole journey. Growth happens in silence. Think about a seed planted in the ground. After you plant it, what do you see? Nothing. No sign of life, no leaves, no stem, nothing visible at all. For days, it looks like nothing is happening. If you only judged by what you could see, you would think the seed failed, or that nothing was growing. But underground, something is happening. The seed is cracking open. Roots are forming, pushing down into the soil, spreading out, searching for stability and nutrients. This stage is invisible. Nobody sees it. There is no applause for a seed growing roots. But this stage is the most important stage, because without strong roots, nothing above the ground can stand. Eventually, after the roots have done their work, something breaks through the surface. A small stem appears, then leaves, and over time, sometimes a very long time, that small seed becomes a tree that can stand strong, weather storms, and grow for years. Your life works the same way. Right now, you might be in your root growing stage. You're putting in effort, you're trying to change, you're doing the work, but you don't see results yet. Nothing seems to be happening on the surface. This is the stage where most people quit because they think nothing is changing, so they assume nothing will ever change. But progress is invisible at first. That doesn't mean it isn't happening. It means it's happening underground, in places you can't see, in your mind, in your habits, in your character, in your discipline. The roots are growing, and if you keep going, eventually what's happening underground will break through the surface, and the results will show. Think about the months before a tree breaks through the soil. If you dug it up halfway through that process, you would find roots. Not the tree you were hoping for, but the foundation of it. If you give up halfway through your own process, you might be giving up right when the roots are almost strong enough to support everything above ground. You just can't see it yet. Keep going. That is the message of this stage. Keep going even when you see nothing. Keep going even when it feels like nothing is working. Keep going especially then, because that is exactly when the roots are forming. Now let's bring everything together and talk about what it means to become unstoppable. There is a formula, and it's simple, but simple does not mean easy. The formula is this: discipline plus consistency plus responsibility plus persistence equals an unstoppable person. Let's break this down. Discipline, not motivation, discipline. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. You feel motivated one day, and the next day, that feeling is gone. And if motivation was the only thing driving you, you stop the moment it disappears. Discipline is different. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. This is one of the most important truths you will ever hear. People chase motivation, hoping it will carry them to their goals. But motivation is unreliable. Discipline is the foundation that holds you up when motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about the difference between someone who only acts when they feel motivated and someone who acts no matter what they feel. The first person is consistent only by accident. They happen to act on the days motivation shows up, and they don't act on the days it doesn't. Their results are unpredictable, just like their motivation. The second person is consistent by choice. Their results are predictable because their actions are not dependent on a feeling that comes and goes. Discipline turns effort from something occasional into something reliable. Consistency. It's not about doing something perfectly once. It's about doing something even imperfectly, again and again and again. Consistency is showing up on the days you don't want to. Consistency is doing the work when it's exciting and doing the work when it's boring. Consistency turns small actions into massive results over time, simply because they are repeated. A small action repeated daily becomes something enormous over months and years. A small action done once and then abandoned becomes nothing. The action itself might be identical, the same push-up, the same page, the same hour of practice, but the outcome is completely different because one was repeated and the other was not. Consistency is the multiplier that turns small efforts into big results. Responsibility. We already talked about this. Responsibility creates power. When you take responsibility for your life, your choices, your actions, and your results, you put yourself in the driver's seat. And from the driver's seat, you can actually steer your life in the direction you want it to go. Persistence. This is what carries you through the hard times, the times when progress is invisible, when excuses are loud, when quitting feels easier than continuing. Persistence is choosing to keep going, not because it's easy, but because giving up doesn't get you anywhere either, so you might as well keep moving forward. Persistence is what's left when motivation is gone, when the excitement of starting something new has faded, when the results haven't shown up yet, and when every excuse in the book is screaming at you to stop. Persistence is the quiet decision to take one more step anyway. Discipline plus consistency plus responsibility plus persistence equals unstoppable. Not perfect, not famous, not lucky, unstoppable. A person who keeps going no matter what. A person who doesn't need to be rescued because they've learned how to save themselves. A person who doesn't wait for the right time because they've learned that the time is always now. A person who doesn't make excuses because they've learned that excuses are nails and they're done building houses of failure. Let's go back to where we started. Nobody is coming. Say it one more time. Nobody is coming. But here's the shift. Here's what changes everything. You don't need anybody to come. You have everything you need to start. You have your hands to do the push-ups. You have your eyes to read the books. You have your mind to study and learn. You have your voice to speak up for yourself. You have your feet to take the next step. You have today, right now, this moment to begin. Dreamers wait. Achievers act. The difference between the life you have and the life you want is not luck, and it's not other people. It's action. Consistent, disciplined, responsible, persistent action, repeated over time. Even when nobody is watching, even when nothing seems to be happening, even when it would be easier to make an excuse and stop. Success is predictable. It's not a mystery, and it's not random. Take responsibility, do the work, stop the excuses, trust the process, stay consistent, and over time, results follow. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Plant the seed, grow the roots, and eventually, the tree appears. Discipline begins when excuses end. The moment you stop saying, I'm tired, I don't have time, I'll start tomorrow, and it's too hard, and instead say, I'm doing this anyway. That is the moment discipline takes over, and that is the moment your life starts to change. The work is what creates you, not your dreams, not your plans, not your intentions. The actual work, the push-ups, the pages, the hours of practice, the showing up again and again, that is what shapes who you become. You are being built right now by what you do today. Life rewards action, not excuses. It doesn't matter how good your excuse is. It doesn't matter how valid it sounds. Life does not hand out rewards for excuses, no matter how reasonable they are. Life rewards the people who act, even imperfectly, even slowly, even when it's hard. Lonely seasons are preparation. If you feel alone right now, if it feels like nobody understands what you're going through, if it feels like you're the only one putting in this effort while everyone else seems to have it easier, that loneliness is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the root growing stage. It's quiet. It's invisible. And it's necessary. Consistency wins always. Not intensity, not perfection, not one big effort followed by months of nothing. Consistency, small, steady, repeated effort over time, wins every single time against people who try hard for a short burst and then quit. And finally, unstoppable people are built, not born. Nobody comes into this world already disciplined, already consistent, already responsible, already persistent. These are not gifts you're given at birth. They are built through choices, through repetition, through showing up again and again, especially when it's hard, especially when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is coming. So here is where this leaves you. Nobody is coming to save you, and that is not the bad news. It's the truth, and the truth is where your power begins. Stop waiting, stop blaming, stop making excuses. Take responsibility for your life, your choices, and your future. Do the work yourself, because nobody else can do it for you. Trust the process, even when progress is invisible, even during the hard times, even when it feels like nothing is happening underground. and build yourself day by day, choice by choice, action by action, into someone who is disciplined, consistent, responsible, and persistent. Someone who doesn't wait, doesn't make excuses, and doesn't quit. Nobody is coming, so get up and do it yourself. Nobody is coming. Responsibility creates power. Discipline begins when excuses end. The work is what creates you. Say these to yourself, not once, but every day, until they stop being words you hear and start being the way you live. Because in the end, this is the whole message, repeated in every section, in every example, in every quote. Nobody is coming, so it's on you. And the moment you accept that, you stop waiting for a life and start building one.